Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning, everybody. That doesn't sound quite right to me. Maybe I check my volume here really quick. No, I think we're good. I don't know. It just doesn't sound right, guys. Okay, well, anyways. Sounds good on you guys' end, yeah? Alright, well, let's go to the charts. So, we had a little bit of a move down last night that has retraced in the equity indexes, and pretty much the same thing here in the Treasuries. You can see we had a pretty decent move down, but it's still just to, basically support levels from April 12th. So, not really a huge deal. I'm really surprised at how much we're coming back here. But again, we're kind of at previous support levels. So, we're still kind of in a spot where, it could be a sell in Treasuries. Could be. Let's see last CN. Well, I took a few. See Heidi in the chat room. You guys up early. Well, trading the European hours. Yeah. All right. Well, anyways, today is Thursday, so we get core retail sales month over month, Philly Fed manufacturing index, and unemployment claims. And for the core retail sales, we're looking for a record reading of spot 7%, retail sales month over month spot 9%. Philly Fed manufacturing index, we're looking for a reading of 11.2, and unemployment claims, we're looking for 207. So the most news we gotten all week. So definitely want to keep an eye on things and preferably stay out of the market until that trades. See, Magic Slayer followed us overnight on Day Live. Thank you very much. Anyways, there's quite a bit of volume going long here ahead of the open. Kind of interesting. Excuse me. Fix my YouTube monitor here. Okay. Huh. Someone says, if you went on about D-Live, when you stream, if you manage to get 6 viewers, you jump to 12 viewers, and we'll jump between 10 to 15 viewers if you keep those 6 viewers over. And then he continues, but that's interesting. It's saying if you get enough on D-Live that but it could just be bots. Okay, so here on the open, I'm not seeing like a ton of volume, but there was a sell there, so yeah. He's serious, folks. $4K at 03. Interesting. Oh man, I feel the food settling in my stomach. Hmm. U.S. metropolitan areas with the highest percentage of STEM jobs in 2017 in California, Lexington Park, Maryland, is 24%. I've never heard of that place. That is a pretty, to have a quarter of people in STEM jobs, though, that is something else. I wonder what was with the buying ahead of. I mean, somebody bought up a lot of contracts there for it to just come back like that. Okay, see, so now they're buying it up. This whole thing is really interesting to me. I don't understand why some market's up to something in it. Boom, boom, boom. Super quiet in Discord this week. Oh yeah, I should also mention we have the Mueller report releasing at when the equity open is, and that should be interesting. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Seeing a ton of really interesting news overnight. I think everybody is just hunkered down. No deal on China would be adverse for markets, JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon on Fox. Donald Trump tweeting about presidential harassment. And retweeting Judicial Watch a bunch yesterday. That's interesting. JPY is the strongest in New Zealand, dollar is the weakest as North American traders enter for the day. That would maybe explain. I don't know. I don't see the moves to be that terribly correlated, but yeah, yen moved up, and yeah, it definitely seems like it did make a difference. So we'll have to watch to keep an eye on that. So, because when it's currencies dominating the action, it can move very quickly in one direction or another. And right now, they're moving up. And I don't know, we're kind of in this triangle formation on the longer term chart, on the daily chart. And back down to 03. We may just be stuck here until the news. I'm thinking. Man, well, my body must have like just sucked up everything that I ate because I ate a ton for dinner and I can already hear stuff in my stomach moving. Private health insurance stocks in free fall as Medicare for all gains momentum. Insurance industry stocks dropping as Medicare. Blah, blah, blah. We got some serious people power on our hands, said National Nurses United. It's kind of interesting that they would, that anybody would be trading on that because Medicare for all, there's no chance of that happening anytime soon. Okay, so they're all pulled. Wow, they really pulled all the way up to here. Goldman inspects a negative half to negative 3/4 hit to Q2 GDP growth. Okay, so we're moving down. Put something up in here. Dang, well, I don't know. Okay, retail sales 1.6 versus 1. That's very good. Jobless claims 192 versus 205. That's good as well. Where is the Philly Fed number? Whew, that's quite the move. Philly Fed 8 versus an expected 11. So the manufacturing was not as good as expected. That, I think, I don't know. The retail sales were good, but I don't know if they were good enough to justify that. I was a little surprised how far it moved. Keep an eye on this 01 area though. If we come back, I kind of see some profit taking around in here. So I would like to go short, but this would be a really bad spot to do it, so. And just kind of hold off and see what happens. Normally I've been taking, I've been clicking in on moves like that, but it's a little bit more cautious today. So there's a lot there at 30.5. And it's doing it in the 5-year too. Okay. Also, interestingly enough, there was a spike in the E-mini, but it wasn't a huge spike. E-mini didn't move nearly as much as the Treasuries would it did. Good morning, Lucas. How's it going? It kind of popped up there, made a new high, and then came back to close. I'd say about 2 points higher than they were. Treasuries going sideways. Lucas took a tick. It was a strong move down, wasn't it? I mean, when I saw it go through, I could have said, okay, they're selling it and just sell it, but you never know with ones like that, So, like, this, well, I don't know why I put that one there. Notice that all this size at 03. There was some iceberging there at 03, so that must be why that's sticking out like that. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4 tick pullback. Higher high. Oh, do I have the wrong screen up? Thanks, guys. I bought it at lows when I saw absorption, but quickly exited since they were absorbing in the offer as well. Oh, hey, yeah, that's a good way of doing it, though. I like that. Well, that sucks that we didn't have the video of the move. Oh, well. So a lot absorbing there at evens. 8K. Rungs up a little bit earlier today. Welcome. Oh, kind of interesting there in the E-mini too. The E-mini has almost completely retraced now. Okay. So some buying there at 05, but, or sorry, 0.5. But not holding it. Wow. Students say they're the real victims after barbecue ends with a $30 million fine. What? That's the end of your life right there. Markets are closed tomorrow, right? I think so. Tomorrow is Good Friday, right? Let me double check that, but I think tomorrow is Good Friday, right? Holiday closings. Oh wait, why did it give me me credit union? Dumb. Okay, here we go. Good Friday, the 18th. Yep. No market tomorrow. I'll still be up though. We can program something or chat or whatever you want. Need to come up with a good stat to try and research. What should we research? Oh man, there's so many things that we could do. I think that I want to try and make let's see if we can make something that shows us correlation. Yeah? Can look around and see if there's some indicators out there already existing that indicate correlation, and we can do like some statistical analysis to show like how often two instruments are in correlation or something like that. Would be nice to have some indicator that tells you like, okay, here are all of the things that affect treasuries, and here is the thing that seems to be most correlated at the moment. You know, that'd be cool. So let's do that. They're still having trouble at 0.5 there. That so 0.1 is a 50% retracement of the move. I'm not seeing quite enough of weirdness here to sell it, but this is a spot that I would want to think about selling it here, and then up at if we're able to get up to the 0.3 area. It's my 8:35 p.m. Take me some time, finish job, and get back home. I'll put that one up there. Because if there's a possibility to get filled there, and it might be really slippery. So I should just stick it in there, and if it goes through me, then I'll just have to manage it. Nope. So a little bit of buying there in the E-mini caused them to tick down. Herman Cain, my voice is needed to counter the Fed and its professor standards, says CNBC reporting. Initial jobless claims tumble to fresh 50-year lows. 50-year lows, folks. That 31.5 pulled awfully easily. And they're not just sweeping it. Okay. Well, my one range chart kind of indicates a pivot there. That's 3 ticks up. Well, now that evens is pulling. Zoluval. Retail sales strong. Claims stellar. Philly slightly weaker headline. And yet buyers on the dip below 14 likely via knob curve flatteners. Perhaps a few aggressive sellers ahead of Mueller. Still defended 10 minutes later. I like good analysis. All right there, buddy. Where's my frequently used ones? Ooh, that. Okay, I don't like the way that I got filled there. Okay. So I kind of got filled on what appeared to be some sort of a stop run. And they're already pushing it back down. So I'm a little cautious because of how I got filled, but okay. So there was an iceberg there selling it. Yeah, that bid. Okay, that time was a little bit more aggressive. It's kind of interesting how that bid didn't seem super strong. It kind of was there and then it pulled back off. But now hitting people at 01. Yeah, okay. Fine. And they're slamming that pretty hard, stopping people out, aren't they? Okay. See here, it's saying maybe you could get out at break even, but I'd be nervous. I think that the -1 is fine. And what's with this stack at evens? Am I seeing similar in the 5-year? I am. At 0.37. And when they ticked down, it kind of pulled. Okay, well, I really could have gotten break even there. Now they're trying to get me to sell evens. Oh, Restream says we've received 1,000 messages with Restream chats now. Good job, guys. Is there a time frame for the Mueller-Pasta report? So the report itself will happen at 7:30 my time, 9:30 Eastern time, when equity markets open. That was a good sell on ES, but it's pre-market. It totally retraced in ES, but Treasuries did not, which I think Treasuries are doing the right thing. I think that yesterday's move was a bit much. Yeah, see. So when it goes up, they're really pushing it for some reason. It seems like somebody is aggressively trying to get it up to the pre-news level or something like that. I don't know. It could also be the Mueller report, although I'm a little, I don't know. I think that if you're taking a trade ahead of the Mueller report, expecting to hear something significant that changes the trajectory of actual markets, that you're probably going to be disappointed. It's highly unlikely that we hear anything in the Mueller report that significantly changes the overall landscape. Like we've known that there was no collusion for several months now. Okay, so now when they're pushing down, they're pushing hard there as well. Yeah, I don't see how that could impact the market. Yeah, but there's always these guys at the hedge funds that seem to think that they're smart or something. I don't know. You got to remember that like 50% or more of the population has been living in a mass hysteria for the past 2 years over this report, and the Democrats made a really, really big stink over, oh, they won't release the report. They won't release the report. So now today, they're going to release the report. Of course, they're going to complain that it's redacted, and they're complaining that there's a press conference, which I think is funny. You know, they're going to try and make hay over whatever is said and make it out to be a big news story, even though it might not actually be. Okay, so this market is shifting aggressively between 31.5 and 1/2. I haven't seen something like this for a while. And my recollection is that I would have no way of knowing which way it's going to go. Is the Japanese yen doing anything? Oh, yeah, they are. The Japanese yen moved down and retraced as well. I don't have the Mueller report on Econo Day. I don't know. CNBC has it plastered on their front page. I'm very certain that it's going to be at 9:30 Eastern time. There was a whole big, enormous stink yesterday evening when they announced that they were going to do it. And then Donald Trump was like, I might even have my own press conference afterwards. It's like, really? And the Democrats were so mad about it. So mad, guys. See, I think, well, it's kind of interesting to see their reaction, because I think the truth is that they don't really know how to react. I think they might be getting a little bit of cognitive dissonance there. But the current heading that I'm seeing is that they're trying to spin it before everybody else can get the details on it. I'm not so sure that I completely buy that. I mean, when you have a press conference, so the one time I think you'd see at a press conference is like the damage control press conference, right? Where you say like, yes, I did have an affair, and here's, we'll answer any question about it. And you have this big long press conference that's like 2 or 3 hours where the reporters get to ask any question that they want, and you give the most boring answers possible about it, and then they don't care about the story anymore. Yeah, maybe they're trying to do that, but okay, another push down, and then it's, so I'm noticing now that the liquidity is starting to pull here in this range, this range. So before they were pushing, and they were really pushing through people, and now everybody's kind of getting out of the way. Noticing that ZB is moving a lot more. So I think some of what we're seeing might be spreading actually. ZB flattened through the move. They're gonna tick up again. I think after all that hoopla, they would want to try and push it up again and see what kind of stops they can get at 01. I'm kind of watching ZB for signs of it maybe stopping in ZB, but ZB is kind of doing the same thing that the E-mini is doing. So it kind of looks like the 5-year is kind of the more rational one right now. The 5-year ticked down there. They're not giving me a sell or a buy. It seems I just need to leave the order at a level and wish to be filled, which I don't like. Well, especially not when they're busting everybody up here in this range the way that they've been. So the 5-year is heading down, and but Zien isn't going yet. To reset it right here. I thought so. There's nothing hitting it now. Most one like that was just like, did something happen to my data? Because that just completely stood still there for a second. Okay. I see you don't like trade 2 years. I mean, I have it up. Well, I have it in the background. I'm still having a problem with the data on it or something, because it's not. Sometimes the same price will be better offer, so I don't think the Ninja Trader is showing me the right thing. And you know, people like to see debate coins. Donald Trump posting a video of some sort. Zero Hedge tweets, best headline today, Sears bankrupt, Shell sues Lampert, seeks creditor compensation. Yes, because Sears is not really Sears anymore. It is just a bankrupt Shell corporation. So here's the 5-year on a ledge here at 03 3/4. Okay. It goes offer. Nobody hitting 03 half yet. Level 2 kind of changing around though. Doing the dance. Nope, I didn't go. I'm back up. Okay. So that went offer in the 10-year. I think though, well, Okay. I want to keep this one up here though. The E-mini is buying here, by the way. You see that? What's with that? Fund holding very firm versus Treasuries. Some reallocations, odds of easing now today down to 4%. Okay. Almost all of that was there at 05 pulled. They're very much doing this kind of trying to throw people around. So I don't know if it's actually breaking up here right now or if it's just a trick to get you to take a quick stop. See that? I thought that it had calmed down enough to get a good easy fill there, but clearly not. Yeah, they didn't even bother to defend 01. That says Lucas. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's some volume that traded there, but considering everything that had happened before that, you would have thought that it would have taken a bit more than that, huh? But you can see, like, then they sell into it. Well, okay, there's an iceberg there now. It's probably going to be a little bit more that has to trade at a 1/2. The thing that's funny about all this is look at the cumulative delta. So we really moved down, and ever since the move down, the cumulative delta has been all along. Heidi T says want a little bit more of a pop for a short. I think I was a little early to this one for sure. I mean, I don't want to have a move like that go against me. A decent amount absorbed at 01. And the offer at 01 is not incredibly inspiring yet. The E-mini was buying there, though. I wonder what's with that. A little bit of some absorption right here at 0825, though. It's kind of interesting how that one happened. But then they rush into 0.5. What's with that? This weird. Weird action. But then when it goes offer, it's a strong offer again. Good morning, Ace. I don't know. This whole thing seems fishy to me. He's always is always looking to short it. What's with that? No, not total negative 62. It's a total of no 46. There we go. Well, maybe they do get to that 03. Elevator downstairs back up. Oh, right. Because you get a better. It goes faster when it goes short. I'm afraid that we might have already, if there is a short here, that we already missed it. Although I'm not sure. The Treasuries are doing something weird here. I've never quite seen them like this. And they are buying up. It's like the only thing that I can think of is that somebody seems to think they know something about the Mueller report that we don't. He says, I'm always afraid of that too. ... But fear and greed run the world market and the mini S&P. When we're moving down, those trades are definitely more fun. But there's more money on the long side. But if you're a scalper and you're trying to minimize your risk, I totally get the sells in stocks, because there's a very much a long bias in stocks, and when they do sell, it happens really quick. Live action. Anyone know what caused the European open volatility? I mean, when I woke up this morning, I didn't see any significant news. The 6:30 news, the market reacted to it a little bit more strongly than I would have expected. But at the moment, it's starting to look like that is going to completely retrace. So, I don't know. The treasuries are exceptionally choppy today. EU PMI, there you go. I haven't really been paying too much attention to the foreign numbers. I don't know. They do appear to have been having more of an impact than normal, though. Okay, so some iceberging at 02. Interesting. So if the E-mini takes a little tiny jump of like 3 ticks, Treasury ticks down. Still more ice breaking at 02. Some people are unhappy. The Fed has navigated all these cross currents to help avoid a recession. It's weird. This is from A.W. on Twitter, somebody I follow. Another clean leg down in soybeans. I'm a little skeptical of this up move still. I'm wondering still if Japanese yen decides to go down for another plunge. E-mini seems to be settling down into this support area. Kind of want to keep an eye on it to see if there's a long in here. Oh man, I hope you guys can't hear that. The dryer. It's not too bad. Well, it's enough to cause sound. Yeah, I got up to go to bed yesterday, and a child had clogged the toilet and got water everywhere, and so we had to soak it all up with towels and clean the towels. It was quite the mess. I was really shocked. I'll take 10 dryers over the birds. Well, I think that they quieted the birds for now. It's funny, when my wife leaves for work early, all of the kids wake up really early. But she's here. They haven't woken up yet. Oh, speaking of which, this reminds me of this thing. When I got home, they were watching this movie. Have you seen Peter Rabbit? And I was a little triggered by this movie. Like, while I'm watching, I didn't see like the whole thing, just like the last half of it, I think. And the rabbit's trying to steal the food, and Mr. McGregor is trying to stop the rabbit from stealing the food. And I'm like, that rabbit is stealing. That rabbit is stealing from that man. And it looks like he works hard on his garden. Does he not work hard on that? He was putting an electric fence off. It looked nice. Like, this was a clean guy. He was a good, hard working. I liked this guy. And this rabbit is just coming in and stealing his food. And I said this, the rabbit should stop being a thief. And the kids were, and of course, you know what the kids are going to say, right? Well, he's just a rabbit. They side with the girl in the show, who quite frankly, I think is a little, I was like, I don't know, buddy, maybe you should move on. She didn't seem too bright. Like, they're stealing from you, right? And they could say, well, they're just a rabbit. Okay, these are rabbits that use electricity, almost murdered him with explosives. They speak to him at some point, all right? These rabbits are clearly capable of creating an agrarian society, growing their own crops, and not stealing from this man's hard work. Huh? Oh, they should just let the rabbits have some of the food. Now, that sounds like communism to me, folks. That sounds like communism. You mean the guy who planted food in the rabbit's backyard? Look, he owns the land legally. I can't help it. If he, sometimes bad things happen and unjust things happen, but then like the law is the law at the end, and you can't just, you didn't like how it turned out and break the law. Then we just have chaos. Wait, what's this? The rabbits are liberals, man. No. I'm just saying, it seemed like communism to me. And here's the thing that bothered me about the movie was like, my wife was like, you're being silly, Seth. Don't worry. By the end of the movie, they'll have it all worked out. Okay. Well, what happened at the end of the movie? They saved the house, and the girl isn't mad at him anymore, and that was it. Right. So he technically didn't get the girl. So like, I don't think they got married, unless I missed something. They didn't get married. So that's kind of bullcrap right there. But then like the rabbit was still trying to kill him in the credits by giving him dynamite and stuff. Right. So like, because Mr. McGregor and the rabbit, they could like make a deal, like, hey, if you rabbits help me with the garden, then I'll let you have some of the food. See, this is how we deal with things in a real society. But no, in this show, we try and kill people and steal their property. Hippity hoppity, there's no such thing as private property. I don't recognize ownership of land. There you go. That's the liberal way of doing it. Maybe I cook the rabbits and keep the garden. There you go. That's what he should have done. Maybe I'm a heartless person. I tend to think that I'm high in conscientiousness, but sometimes being high in conscientiousness can actually make you a little cruel. If it was me, that's what I would have done. I would have killed the rabbits, ate the rabbits, and then when the girlfriend was pissed at me, I'd be like, I shouldn't have eaten from my garden. And if she's pissed at me, then so what? It's just a girl. You know what I'm saying? But this movie is like, oh, you can't do anything to piss off the nice lady. That would be the worst thing in the world if that happened. F that. Maybe I drop my 300 pounds of dogs in the backyard and let them kill rabbits. Oh, man. Well, I remember when I was a missionary in the middle of Missouri. It was the middle of Missouri, and it was out there. Like, to get to the largest town was 30 minutes away, and that was like 15,000 people, I think. And then like outside of that, it was like 2 hours to all of these towns that we covered. I spent so much time in the car. There was this guy, he owned his own business, and he was loaded. Of course, it was like out in the country and everything, so things are a lot cheaper. But they had such a nice place, and they built pallets. That was how he made money. So like, he would buy broken pallets, and they would tear them down and then build new pallets out of the broken ones, and that's how they made money. And they paid their workers on a per pallet basis. Yeah, he made some good money doing this, and he had a garden, and the rabbits were eaten out of the garden. So, we're walking up, and we're like, "Yeah, I saw one of the rabbits in the garden." So he pulls out the 22, and he had nice like the full scope in it. I didn't know that you could get 22 rifles with scopes and stuff, but he had a 22 with a nice scope, and they went out and his friend was there, and he's like, "Oh, here, let me do it." So they go and they shoot the rabbit, and that thing jumped probably 20 feet in the air. They shot it, and I'm like, "What the heck?" I had never seen anything like that. But the rabbit just got startled and jumped up and then landed and just sat there startled and wouldn't move. And so they shot it again. And I think when they shot it again, they got it in its foot and it couldn't run away. So we went up to it and he picked the rabbit up by the ears and hit it on the ground and snapped its neck. And we're like, okay, what happened to the first bullet? Did it not hit him and the rabbit just jumped? No, there was a hole. There was a bullet hole through both of the rabbit's ears. So their first hit went through both of the ears. People do that down here in Florida all the time. You see the pickup trucks grossly overloaded with pallets all the time. Oh. I thought you were going to say, do you see the trucks grossly overloaded with rabbits all the time? Here in Utah, there's a town called Delta, and they're overrun by jackrabbits, and they go out at night and go on shooting sprees against the rabbits. And they'll go out with a spotlight and a shotgun and just shoot rabbits all night. Or they'll get in a giant circle. They'll go in a field and they'll get in a giant circle and they'll just all kind of walk towards each other. And then the rabbits will all congregate in the middle of the circle and they can just beat the rabbits to death to save ammo. So Ace did take a short there and broke even on it. Well, I was thinking about taking a long, but not here in this spot. Maybe if I see the right things on the open. But I wouldn't be surprised to see the E-mini try and go back to 2916. When we first moved into our house, I went on a squirrel killing spree in suburbia, no less, so it was pretty challenging. I had to stop because vultures started showing up. Oh, wow. I've never seen a vulture in my area. We have hawks. I'm terrified of my birds going outside because I think that they'll get eaten by a hawk. Fed funds futures is the base calculation for all of it. See me too. Okay, yeah. He was asking about why the chances of tightening was 4%. Adolescent egocentrics having fun. See, they keep down ticking like they're done. Well, this price right here, 04, was basically the open price. If we're over 04, then something's up. So I don't see any reason for us to be that high. But you can see they're quite aggressively hitting into 03 here now. They've actually busted through 2 of these. Oh, this is old Yuval speaking with regards to June policy not made by FYI. Yeah, well, I think you'd have to want to look at December. Oh, I should check over here. Nope. Nada. Don't have anybody watching on Dave Live now. Whatever. All right, 3 minutes. Do I have a link yet? No. Let's try searching YouTube. See if there's a channel that's not a news, like maybe the Department of Justice is showing it. Bunch of Fox. I've got 2 turtles, an alligator snapping turtle and a common snapping turtle. Really? Like as pets? Or just like they're in the area? Okay, so there's that. That's what I kind of wanted to see in ES. Though, can I buy it there? I'm super tempted. But I think that we want to see it come back a little bit, right? Okay. On this treasury, I really would have preferred 3, but... Oh no, come on. Okay. Well, I kind of expected to see this here, but it didn't. Yeah. Oh, that was before the open. Oh. Hold on. You got 2 points on the move up. Well, let's do this one. Okay. So they're just waiting on the press conference. I'll pull it over here. Let's see here. Make that big, and can we hear the sound? Oh, I have it turned off. There we go. Okay. So I think I got a little confused there because it was buying up. I thought that buying spike was the open, but then when it opened, there was a ton of volume. It's kind of interesting. Okay, so there's a big iceberging at 03.5. That's where I should have taken it. Two-minute warning, they're saying. Okay. Well, there was definitely some selling there that prompted us in, but it looks like we're all underwater right now. They do appear to be reacting to ES here. Okay, here he's stepping up to the podium. A bunch of comments about the turtles here. Sorry, I missed, but let's listen to this.
As you know, on March 22nd, Special Counsel Robert Mueller concluded his investigation into matters related to Russian attempts to interfere in our 2016 presidential election, and he submitted his confidential report to me pursuant to department regulations. As I said during my Senate confirmation hearing and since, I'm committed to ensuring the greatest degree possible of transparency concerning the special counsel's investigation, consistent with the law. At 11 this morning, I'm going to transmit copies of the public version of the special counsel's report to the chairman and ranking members of the Senate and House Judiciary Committees. The Department of Justice will also make the report available to the American people by posting it on the department's website after it has been delivered to Congress. I'd like to make a few comments today on the report. Before I do that, I want to thank Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein for joining me here today and for his assistance and counsel throughout this process. Rod, as you know, has served at the department for nearly 30 years with dedication and distinction, and it's been a great privilege and pleasure for me to work with him since my confirmation. He had well-deserved plans to step back from public service that were interrupted by my asking him to help in my transition. Rod has been an invaluable partner, and I am grateful that he is willing to help me and has been able to see the special counsel's investigation through to its conclusion. Thanks, Rod. Yeah. I'd also like to thank Special Counsel Robert Mueller for his service and the thoroughness of his investigation, particularly his work exposing the nature of Russia's attempts to interfere in our electoral process. As you know, one of the primary purposes of the special counsel's investigation was to determine whether President Trump's campaign or any individual associated with it conspired or coordinated with the Russian government to interfere in the 2016 election. Volume 1 of the special counsel's report describes the results of that investigation. As you will see, the special counsel's report states that his quote, investigation did not establish that members of the Trump campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government in its election interference.
He's quoting that from the report.
I am sure that all Americans share my concern about the efforts of the Russian government to interfere in our presidential election. As the special counsel report makes clear, the Russian government sought to interfere in our election process. But thanks to the special counsel's thorough investigation, we now know that the Russian operatives who perpetrated these schemes did not have the cooperation of President Trump or the Trump campaign, or the knowing assistance of any other American for that matter. That is something that all Americans can and should be grateful to have confirmed. The special counsel report outlines two main efforts by the Russian government to influence the 2016 election. First, the report details efforts by the Internet Research Agency, a Russian company with close ties to the Russian government, to sow social discord among American voters through disinformation and social media operations. Following a thorough investigation of this disinformation campaign, the special counsel brought charges in federal court against several Russian nationals and entities for their respective roles in this scheme. Those charges remain pending, and the individual defendants remain at large. But the special counsel found no evidence that any American, including anyone associated with the Trump campaign, conspired or coordinated with the Russian government or the IRA in this illegal scheme. Indeed, as the report states, quote, the investigation did not identify evidence
that
any
IRA,
US person
Internet
knowingly
Research
or
Agency,
intentionally coordinated with the IRA's interference operation, unquote. Put another way, the special counsel found no collusion by any Americans in IRA's illegal activities. Second, the report details efforts by the Russian military officials associated with the GRU, the Russian Military Intelligence Organization, to hack into computers and steal documents and emails from individuals associated with the Democratic Party and Hillary Clinton's campaign for the purpose of eventually publicizing these documents. Obtaining such unauthorized...
Oh no, the mic cut out.
Following a thorough investigation of these hacking operations, the special counsel brought charges to court several Russian military officers for their respective roles in these illegal hacking operations. Those charges are still pending, and the defendants remain at large. But again, the special counsel's report did not find any evidence that members of the Trump campaign or anyone associated with the campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government in these hacking operations. In other words, there was no evidence of the Trump campaign collusion with the Russian government's hacking.
A little downtick there, and
counsel's
E-mini starting to threaten the high.
Russian efforts to publish stolen emails and documents on the internet. The special counsel found that after the GRU disseminated some of the stolen documents to entities that it controlled, DC Leaks and Guccifer 2, the GRU transferred some of the stolen materials to WikiLeaks for publication. WikiLeaks then made a series of document dumps. The special counsel also investigated whether any member or affiliate of the Trump campaign encouraged or otherwise played a role in these dissemination efforts. Under applicable law, publication of these types of material would not be criminal unless the publisher also participated in the underlying hacking conspiracy. Here, too, the special counsel's report did not find that any person associated with the Trump campaign illegally participated in the dissemination of the materials.
Is there a
Finally,
PMI
the
here in
special
5
counsel
minutes?
investigated a number of links
What are we
or
looking at?
contacts between the Trump campaign officials
Looking
and
for a reading of
individuals connected with the
52.8.
Russian government during the
And the services
2016
for a reading of
presidential campaign.
55.
After reviewing these contacts, the special counsel did not find any conspiracy to violate U.S. law involving Russian-linked persons and any persons associated with the Trump campaign. So that's the bottom line. After nearly 2 years of investigation, thousands of subpoenas, hundreds of warrants, and witness interviews, the special counsel confirmed that the Russian government sponsored efforts to illegally interfere with the 2016 presidential election, but did not find that the Trump campaign or other Americans colluded in those efforts. After finding no underlying collusion with Russia, the special counsel's report goes on to consider whether certain actions of the president could amount to obstruction of the special counsel's investigation. As I addressed in my March 24th letter, the special counsel did not make a traditional prosecutorial judgment regarding this allegation.
See, now that they're talking
Instead, the
about
report
obstruction of
recounts 10
justice, the market
episodes
is
involving
moving,
the
so they're buying it.
president and discusses potential legal theories for connecting those activities to the elements of an obstruction offense. After carefully reviewing the facts and legal theories outlined in the report, and in consultation with the Office of Legal Counsel and other department lawyers, the Deputy Attorney General and I concluded that the evidence developed by the special counsel is not sufficient to establish that the president committed an obstruction of justice offense. Although the Deputy Attorney General and I disagreed with some of the special counsel's legal theories and felt that some of the episodes examined did not amount to obstruction as a matter of law, we did not rely solely on that in making our decision. Instead, we accepted the special counsel's legal framework for purposes of our analysis and evaluated the evidence as presented by the special counsel in reaching our conclusions. In assessing the president's actions discussed in the report, it is important to bear in mind the context. President Trump faced an unprecedented situation. As he entered into office and sought to perform his responsibilities as president, federal agents and prosecutors were scrutinizing his conduct before and after taking office and the conduct of some of his associates. At the same time, there was relentless speculation in the news media about the president's personal culpability. Yet, as he said from the beginning, there was, in fact, no collusion.
52.9 versus 59. Sorry, 55. So PMI was not good.
That the president was frustrated and angered by his sincere belief that the
A little under
investigation was
expectations.
undermining his presidency, propelled by his political opponents, and fueled by illegal leaks. Nonetheless, the White House fully
I saw some
cooperated
stacking
with the
there at
special
03.
counsel's investigation, providing unfettered access to campaign and White House documents, directing senior aides to testify freely, and asserting no privilege claims. And
The
at the same
services
time,
was
the president took
52
no act
versus
that in fact
55.
deprived the
Manufacturing
special
52.4
counsel of the
versus an
documents and
expected
witnesses necessary
52.8.
to complete his investigation. Apart from whether the acts were obstructive, this evidence of non-corrupt motives weighs heavily against any allegation that the president had a corrupt intent to obstruct the investigation. Now, before I take questions, I want to address a few aspects of the process for producing the public report that I am releasing today. As I said several times, the report contains limited redactions related to 4 categories of information. To ensure as much transparency as possible, those redactions have been clearly labeled so that the readers can tell which redactions correspond to which categories. Now, as to recall, those categories are 6E material, grand jury material, information that the IC believes would disclose sources and methods, information that would impair the investigation and prosecution of other cases that are underway, and finally, information that implicates the privacy and reputational interests of peripheral third parties. As you will see, most of the redactions were compelled by the need to prevent harm to ongoing matters and to comply with court orders prohibiting the public disclosure of information bearing on ongoing investigations and criminal cases, such as the IRA case and the Roger Stone case. These redactions were applied by Department of Justice attorneys working closely together with attorneys from the Special Counsel's office, as well as the intelligence community, and prosecutors are handling the ongoing cases. The redactions are their work product. No redactions done by anybody outside this group. There were no redactions done by anybody outside this group. No one outside this group proposed any redactions, and no one outside the department has seen the unredacted report, with the exception of certain sections that were made available to IC, the intelligence community.
Mueller report examined 10 episodes of potential obstruction, and none of them were sufficient to establish that he obstructed obstruction of justice. That's interesting.
Privilege over any portion of the report rested with the President of the United
I think that
States.
my signal there that I got
Because
at
the White
04
House
was a
had
bad signal
voluntarily
because
cooperated with
it's
the
against
Special
me.
Counsel. Significant portions of the report contain material over which the President could have asserted privilege, and he would have been well within his rights to do so. Following my March 29th letter, the Office of the White House Counsel requested the opportunity to review the redacted version of the report in order to advise the President on the potential invocation of privilege, which is consistent with long-standing practice. Following that review, the President confirmed that in the interest of transparency and full disclosure to the American people, he would not assert privilege over the Special Counsel's report. Accordingly, the public report I am releasing today contains redactions only for the 4 categories that I previously outlined, and no material has been redacted based on executive privilege. In addition, earlier this week, the President's personal counsel requested and was given the opportunity to read a final version of the redacted report before it was publicly released. That request was consistent with the practice followed under the Ethics in Government Act, which permitted individuals named in a report prepared by an independent counsel the opportunity to read the report before publication. The President's personal lawyers were not permitted to make and did not request any redactions. In addition to making the redacted report public, we are also working with Congress to accommodate their legitimate oversight interests with respect to the Special Counsel's investigation. We have been consulting with Chairman Graham and Chairman Nadler through this process.
The committee has been selling through this whole range here. It's been going sideways, but they've been selling it.
I believe that the publicly released report will allow every American to understand the results of the Special Counsel's investigation. Nevertheless, in an effort to accommodate congressional requests, we will make available, subject to appropriate safeguards, to a bipartisan group of leaders from several congressional committees, a version of the report with all redactions removed, except those relating to grand jury information. Thus, these members of Congress will be able to see all of the redacted material for themselves, with the limited exception of that which, by law, cannot be shared. I believe that this accommodation, together with my upcoming testimony before the Senate and House Judiciary Committees, will satisfy any need Congress has for information regarding the Special Counsel's investigation. Once again, I'd like to thank you for being here, and I will now have a few questions.
Mr. Attorney General, we don't have the report in hand, so could you explain for us the Special Counsel's articulated reason for not reaching a decision on obstruction of justice, and if it had anything to do with the department's long-standing guidance on not indicting a sitting president? And you say you disagreed with some of his legal theories. What did you disagree with him on?
I'd leave it to his description in the report, the special counsel's own articulation of why he did not want to make a determination as to whether or not there was an obstruction offense. But I will say that when we met with him, Deputy Attorney General Rosenstein and I met with him along with Ed O'Callaghan, who is the principal associate.
I'm in this, and the
On
order
March
flows
5th,
clearly
we
against
specifically
me and
asked him
the
about the
Treasuries.
OLC opinion and whether or not he was taking the position that he would have found a crime but for the existence of the OLC opinion. And he made it very clear several times that that was not his position. He was not saying that but for the OLC opinion he would have found a crime. He made it clear that he had not made the determination that there was a crime.
Did you disagree with him on?
May I follow up
Sorry,
on that, Mr.
to
Attorney
follow up,
General?
What did you disagree with him on?
Given that, why did you and Mr. Rosenstein feel the need you had to take it to the next step to conclude that there was no crime, especially given that DOJ policy?
Well, the very prosecutorial function and all our powers as prosecutors, including the power to convene grand juries and the compulsory process that's involved.
Is there news at the top of the
for
hour?
one purpose and one purpose only. It's determine yes or no.
There is business
Was alleged
inventories.
conduct criminal or not criminal? That is our responsibility, and that's why we have the tools we have.
Block
And
cell.
we don't go through this process
Okay.
just to collect information and throw it out to the public. We collect this information, we use that compulsory process for the purpose of making that decision. And because the special counsel did not make that decision, we felt the department had to, and that was a decision by me and the Deputy Attorney General. Yes.
Or did the special counsel indicate?
So there was a black cell there at L5, and they're already trying to push him out?
Or that it should be left for Congress? And also, how do you respond to criticism you're receiving from congressional Democrats that you're acting more as a attorney for the president rather than as the chief law enforcement officer?
Special Counsel Mueller did not indicate that his purpose was to leave the decision to Congress. I hope that was not his view, since we don't convene grand juries and conduct criminal investigations for that purpose. He did not, I didn't talk to him directly about the fact that.
So that
he was
just
making
killed
a
one of the
decision,
big
but I
theories out
know
there?
His reaction to that was that it was.
Jeez, I don't understand what's going on here in Treasuries.
Attorney General to make that decision.
But that's 3 in a row, so no more live.
Today about your review of the genesis of the Russia investigation and whether assets have been provided to investigate.
No, today I'm really focused just on the process of releasing this report.
Democrats in Congress have asked for Robert Mueller himself to testify. Robert Mueller remains a Justice Department employee as of this moment. Will you permit him to testify publicly to Congress?
I have no objection to Bob Mueller personally testifying.
Mr. Attorney General, it's not the Democrats who have questioned some of the process here. A Republican-appointed judge on Tuesday said you have, quote, created an environment that has caused a significant part of the
Okay, now
American
the
public
equities
concerned
are
about this action.
starting to
Here the
push
president
that
on obstruction,
support
the president is
area.
fundraising off of your comments about spying. And here you have remarks that are quite generous to the president, including acknowledging his
Yeah.
feelings and his emotions.
I'm
What
super
do you
bummed
say
about
to
this
both
today,
sides of the
guys.
aisle
This
who are
is
concerned
going to be
you
bad,
and
right?
your
After the E-mini
Lots of the
trades.
statements about his sincere beliefs are recognized in the report, that there was substantial evidence for that. So I'm not sure what your basis
What is it? Just
for
in
saying
net treasuries, it's
being
probably
generous to the
-8,
president.
right?
face an unprecedented situation. It just seems like there's a lot of effort to go out of your way to acknowledge how this.
Well,
was
is there
difficult.
another precedent for it?
No, but it's unusual.
Okay, so
that-
unprecedented is an accurate description, isn't it?
Well, it's more
You said
than
people who are
more than
concerned that you were
8.
trying to protect the president. Eric?
There's a lot of public interest in the absence of the special counsel and members of his team. Was he invited?
I've
to
just
the
done so
report?
terrible today,
Why
guys.
is he not here? This is his report, obviously, that you're talking about today.
No, it's not.
But
The
I
report he
found a
did for
trend,
me
I
as
guess.
the Attorney General. He is required under the regulations.
Those were spots that it could have turned around, and I saw order flow there. I don't know why they're so intent on buying it.
Report and my decision, entirely discretionary to make it public, since these reports are not supposed to be made public. That's what I'm here to discuss.
Propriety for you to come out and sort of what appears to be sort of spinning the report before the public gets a chance to read it?
Okay, thank you very much.
That you didn't answer that question? That's interesting. I mean, I didn't feel like there was any spin there. He was pretty cut and dry about what was in there. Wow, that's that whole thing. That was interesting. Oh, the background. All right. PMI crashes to 2-year lows, signals GDP slump. So are they really concerned about the PMI number? This flash PMI number that came through? I mean, it has been up since then. There was a little... I didn't see it at the time, but I guess there was a little bit of pulling on that. Well, if it was going to do this, where could we push to? Well, the overnight high was 06.5. Oof. I don't know. If it goes much further, then it's a significant trend reversal in ZN. See, it's like that tick down right there. That looks like I can sell it. But it hasn't been working. The E-mini is selling more strongly now. Donald Trump just tweeted a picture that says, no collusion, no obstruction for the haters and the radical left Democrats came over. Picture. So Washington Post's headline right now is Barr says he disagreed with some of Mueller's theory on obstruction claim. Yeah, but they kind of missing the key thing that he said there, isn't it? This is super weird when they say that. No, those weren't live trades. But if I was, I'm not going to trade live until September. But if that was live, we would switch over to a different account, right? Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, don't be concerned for me. That's, yeah, obviously, that'd be a lot to lose. I think maybe I distracted myself there because I really shouldn't have been letting those go for -4, huh? I still want to sell it. That's the thing that's so frustrating. I really don't see a reason for Treasuries to be buying this strongly. I also really don't see a reason for the E-mini to just straight up sell off. Right now they're just retracing back to kind of where I wanted to buy in the first place. And on that E-mini trade, I'm actually happy with it because I did catch the bottom of that range. It never went. So that at least means that the spot I had was correct. See, they're pushing through a lot of volume on the offers as well, which is very interesting. They seem to really want to push this 08. There's a really big one at way up there. Well, not way up there, but yeah, 11. in the 5-year. Like there's some that are really far away. The restream's not giving me the YouTube messages. Okay. So there's those 7. Yeah, another thing is, I took it 3 times there, expecting some sort of a trend change, but the cumulative delta in the 10-year has been long all day. Also, ZB kind of steepened a little bit there after the PMI news. And what was this last bit of news here? Business inventories was spot 3. CB lending index was spot 4. Both in line. So we have all the news behind us. E-mini's still selling, going down towards these single prints. Hmm, 10-year yields back to lows. Notes 0 hedge. Attorney General William Barr said Trump had quote-unquote non-corrupt motives when it came to obstruction. Is that to mean he had viable non-corrupt excuses? Or because they're not mind readers, right? Okay, so there's some iceberging at 06.5 again. Okay, so that pullback was a little bit more than it would normally be. WTO official U.S. wins World Trade Organization ruling on China grain import quotas. Okay, so I'm seeing the turn. It's a lot there at 08. Okay. Pretty large pullback in Treasury. potentially significant. It's thick on both sides in the 10-year right now. Ooh, wow. Good grief, child. Well, I would have liked to have sold it earlier.
Block by.
Okay. Maybe it gives another push up and failure. Just note that it was Tyler Bott right there. See, this is sixes here at 06 half and 07. Seems like there's more interest in selling it here by the market orders now. Okay. No, I'm not quite seeing as much absorption as I wanted to see in ES. My restream chat window is not working at all. They might. Oh, I didn't see that where Lucas was like, they might be going for 08 or not. I think that was where they were heading, but that's a big offer. And it's a big move up. It's like a big trend on, I don't know. There was news today, but none of the news is like really stands out to me as like a really big deal, you know? It seems like there's a player on both sides here because you've got icebergs on both sides. Oh gosh, child. The press conference should have been a dramatic reading of the Mueller report by Christopher Walken. Okay, cool. Oops, it already went. It already went. I don't know if that's going to fill. So I don't like that. 3K on both sides still. Which might mean a tick up. Let's go for the all-time high in ES. That's what I was saying. I don't know. Where's the all-time high? Is a little far, isn't it? Yeah. All-time high is still a little far. But I view yesterday's action as like a pullback overextension. You know? I don't know. Though we did have quite a bit of a spike up here this morning that has come back. That might, be a bad sign. Okay, so they did tick back up at 05 half. It's still pretty even in the treasuries. Okay, I don't like that offer that showed up there at 29.0125. Yeah, and then they come back up to it and they don't buy it. Come on. Right at my spot too. Okay. Now they're hitting it. Gosh, kids. Don't be so loud. Now they're starting to threaten again. Nope. The treasuries seem like they're too thick to go anywhere now. They might just distribute here. Okay, so I'm seeing on Twitter now the full text of the report. The Mueller report, that is. Okay. This 805 might be a trap. I don't know. It's a little frustrating. Like, let's say that I had sold it at 06 half, where I was kind of considering it. You know, I would still be a little overly cautious here and like afraid of like losing my 3 ticks or whatever. But the size isn't moving. You know what I mean? It'll like sit there forever, and then one side will cross over. 4K traded there at 05 half. So like those buyers didn't give away. And it may be the case that if it sells at 05 that they'll aggressively hold it. E-mini kind of going sideways, possibly a cup and handle. Well, I think here on this E-mini trade, I'm not so sure that it was the best spot, because I think we've spent more time below my price than we have above my price. They're awfully close to it. Yep. So how long did that one take? 10 minutes. It's still here at this spot. It's been here for a long time, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, I've already broke to the upside. I think I could potentially buy this and sell this. So is the E-mini going to go to 28.94 now? I'm tempted to take another trade in the E-mini, but then I'm like, no. That one was already wrong, so that's kind of the opportunity for that one is done. The time when I would want to trade that, it's done. And this is close to 8:30, so I guess I don't take one in the E-mini either. So I think that we just end up with a really, really bad, awful day of suck. Yes, 96 looks interesting. There are some single prints all the way down to 28.93. So could see a little bit more downside. I've not had a new reading in 4 days. Should have gotten a reading yesterday and we didn't. So don't know what's up with that. So let's see here. Ranging around at the 06 level now. The E-mini is starting to show a little target show up below us. All right. Well, I don't know what to tell you guys. What's live action say? Yesterday, low held some support earlier, an area where traders needed to cover if broken, giving additional pressure. Last Friday, 96 held overhead resistance during the Globex session. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the way that the E-mini is trading is kind of like, well, it's within the overnight range. It's not a huge deal. I was wrong, but I caught pretty good spots today. So I feel like that my E-mini trades are coming along. But this, and especially here in Treasuries, man, this whole move up, it was just really take me by surprise. And I feel really bad about screwing it up so bad. That's a, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. More than 16 tick move up. Very unusual. Kids need to leave now. It's 8:30. Very unusual move up, and I don't understand why. But there seems to be, for some reason, they want to buy here. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we're coming up on some resistance levels, so it's not like it was crazy to be trying to like to try and sell it, but it's holding this area. Watch to see sandbagging here. I do see this size down here at the 28.95 area. Might be a key tell, although I don't know what it means exactly. This thing at 060 has been more than an 11 ticks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's right. Get your shoes on, kids. Why are you messing around? It's been doing the same thing. It's really interesting how closely the JPY and the ZN have held with each other. I'm not gonna get filled at 06. I'm so fucking pissed, dude. 36 in line. No, they're going on a field trip to Thanksgiving Point again, huh? Not again, but I forgot about that. If you could just tick back up and fill me, that would be great. So it's not exactly holding the traditional, I don't know. When I've taken this before and it drops out, it usually doesn't come back like that. 13 traded into 06. Good grief. Good grief, guys. ugly trade though. I don't like these trades. This whole day is not. The market has changed for sure. The market has certainly changed this week. I did okay in places, but you can also see places where I kind of start to fall apart, huh? Now, I think with this week, the just a little bit more, I don't know, patience and self-control would have gone a long way. Today, I had a really tough workout. Maybe that's part of why I held those longer than I should have. I don't know. But, you kind of get that combination of like it's bad action for you and you're trading it poorly. Yeah. So the trade is 80% chance you get 05. It hasn't cleared yet. At the moment, we seem unlikely to get filled. Interesting that they went down there and they attempted that low. Didn't make it. And speaking about the E-mini, they're going to try again. Patience is above tough battle for me too. Yeah, just because I took this one was at, oh, actually, I didn't take that back. This one was at 123, right? This one was at 05 and this one was at 05. So, it being in that area, I should have been way more cautious. And it was there for so long that I probably should have considered that it wasn't going to go down. And then this one I took, and then I took this one too. I don't think that the one at 025 made much sense because that's just not a spot. I don't know. I saw it moving, like it got a little aggressive there. But that was just me falling for the trick again, wasn't it? So that, because they turn it right around. Now I sold that, took that, had been in that for a while. Oh, because it ranged with me down for a long time. So then that's the next thing, is that I was in this loser for almost 20 minutes. Right? Maybe, so I'm sure there's lots of things going on in my head and stuff, but long story short, that was a very clear mistake. A very clear mistake. Mistakes were made. Still no fill of 05. That's kind of what we're waiting to see. There's your fill. And 60% 04 half. Nope. We could I'm going to wait 5 minutes, but you could do this if it does decide to pop back up, because we had such a great position in the queue. Medicare for all, Massacre. I'm really surprised that the Medicare section of the healthcare section of the market is getting pummeled so hard by this. It's not happening. Like, even if a Democrat president got put in, they're not going to get Medicare for all. I read an interview of Paul Rotter, who said that he doesn't use any tools, so I tried it and got out of my spaghetti charts and helped. Well, the thing you got to remember about Paul Rotter is that the reason that he's as good as he is because his trades cause fluctuations in the market. You know, he's big enough that people are making decisions based off of things that he's done, essentially. Anyways, I don't really watch the charts too much. Mostly just the DOM, right? Oh, come on. Only 15. Well, it's probably going to tick back up. I'm really surprised at how difficult it is to get filled at 06 here. Borlosano said that was how he made it in the pits. Yeah, well, they didn't really. Well, I guess they kind of had screens, but there weren't charts on them, huh? But I really don't use well, I mean, I get these things, right? But that's more to see. The main reason that I have these charts up is for the cumulative delta, and all of this right here is just a visualization of what's happening in here. Borsalino said that's how he made it in the pits. Traders would follow his trades. Jeez. So can give it a few more minutes. Oh, ES did go lower there to try and take out that 28.95. Still some volume there, and they're starting to see more volume below it and starting to see some volume above it too. So maybe some people are taking positions on it now. Okay, one lot went through. Thank you, Brave Soul at 06. Now can I get 4 more, please? No. Jeez. Oh, one got filled. Cool. I don't think I've ever had one be quite that difficult. I tried putting the same tool on the ESNQNY, YN, RTY. Noticed none of them work the same at all. Yeah, well, I'd be really careful about, like, say we got like an indicator or something like that, and we test it on our instrument and kind of change around the parameters to curve fit it to our particular instrument and then see how much it trades. Because unless it's based on some sort of underlying behavior that happens in your instrument because of the fundamental properties of the instrument, that kind of a trade is unlikely to work out super amazing, you know? But when you start out saying, oh, okay, the E-mini tends to do this, tends to move like this, and then you put together a strategy to take advantage of that, and then you backtest it, and it shows what your theory was, then you got something, right? When you go the other way around, you're just likely to curve fit it. I'd like to think the 8 of you guys that stuck around through the pain. Nope. So the E-mini's buy-in here. At least for the moment. Yeah, it came back. I'm all ready to go, so I could probably push it till 9, but I can't understand why it's not filled. Oh my gosh. One filled. One contract filled. But even that was difficult to get. Gosh, now there's an iceberg at 05. $95 close to $96. I don't know, today is just not my day. The market is actively fighting me. Like, I fell for a couple of dumb things too, but the market, it's, man, I can't think of anything in my favor. No, there's the tick down. Well, I mean, the thing is if I had been short at 06, I would be looking to take it off at 04.5. So I'm not surprised that it touched 04.5. I'm surprised that we ticked up so many times at 05.5 and I couldn't even get 200 contracts to go into it. And I was expecting like some sort of a reversal, but that's really not what we've gotten. Since it topped off there, it's just been kind of really quiet and flat. Well, I guess the E-mini did kind of bounce off of the level that I thought it might. So that's kind of interesting. Nope. See, they take those bids too easily too. See that? Well, now I have no choice but to watch it stop out. Okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe they go for it, but doesn't look good at the moment. Tough call on a hold ahead of a long weekend until I close. Yeah, I guess something that I should have considered was that probably there was people closing out positions, and so maybe all of the buying was everybody that was short closing up shop for the long weekend, you know? I don't know. Obviously can't let that happen again. It happens from time to time, but that shouldn't be allowed. I really was like against like almost the whole thing. Like I could have sold down here and held it and I would have lost as much. Yeah. Heidi says that makes sense. And it makes sense that I'm just out of my mind today. But that's why it's like, I know that that April fucks me up for some reason. I'm not sure I understand what it is about it. Yeah. I'm just wrong all over the place. And the thing that's funny about it too is that, you know, like I wanted to buy the E-mini. Maybe, yeah, you could have gotten it now. So it's not like I couldn't have made money on the trades. It's just like the execution of it is awful. Awful. Anyways, I'm feeling really down on myself right now, but it's okay. Because we know that we don't have an edge in this area. So yeah, good practice, I suppose. It would have been good. Hopefully we would get something out of it. Like the thing that pisses me off is that almost none of these actually even had any favorable excursion either. Were they all sells though? I mean, the ones that were E-mini trades had some favorable excursion, but that's really fucking bad trading, guys. Anybody watching this, you know, in the future, don't trade like today. This was fucking awful. Probably one of the most awful days of trading I've ever had. So, yeah. I've been doing this a while. I haven't TLKED'd a bad trade yet. Oh, you will eventually. Everybody screws up sometimes. Right. I was going to say one more thing. Okay, yeah, so you asked if I'll be on tomorrow. I will be. I don't even think that the market's going to be open. Maybe the CME will be, but either way, we can do some data stuff. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to program a little bit. I look at that big thing of red and I'm just like, how can I do so poorly? Man. Obviously, I took way more trades than I should have. That's part of it. Okay, guys, I will see you guys tomorrow morning then if you are up. I don't like to mess up my sleep schedule, so I will wake up and we can chat and do some programming. And otherwise, I'll see you guys next week. And in the meantime, stay profitable, friends. You know, don't do shit like this.